Hi, welcome. Thank you so much for joining me today. How is everybody feeling? Let me get my screen set. So, for those of you who are new, my name is Jordan. I am with Yoniswell Surf Collective, and this is your weekly energy report. Every week, I get on this channel and I share the cosmic insights and patterns of energy that we're seeing happen in the cosmos that are manifesting and becoming real in physical form. And it is a resource for all of us to tap into, get to know really well as a way to support our everyday practical choices and decisions. And when we tune into our own intuition and create self awareness within our own reality, we create healing and empowerment that leads to taking responsibility for co creating our realities and doing this from the essence of our truth and from our natural self versus our conditioned self. And our conditioned self is the persona, the egoic structure that we grow up as, with this belief that validation comes from external authorities and that our reality is created by external sources. This is not true. This is the conditioning of Capricorn, Saturn, in the 10th house. When we understand the archetypes of astrology in the zodiac wheel, we can then translate that into how we resonate with the world. And so our validation comes from within. We are born with the divine right of abundance and the essence of who we naturally are, and validation from within that what we have within us through our intuition is our greatest guide. And so I welcome you to this channel and I encourage you to explore these ideas and these truths within you and to begin the journey, if you already are not on it, to consciously create intention and connect to your intuition as a way to your own liberation, freedom, and joy. And so here at Yoniswell Surf Collective, we are creating a space that may be different and unique for many people. But a lot of this work, this space, and what we provide is an avenue for people to return to their nature, to connect to their inner divine self that allows their truth and natural self to come through. We also create a space for healing and empowerment through somatic movement. Our fears, our emotions, feelings that can create distortion get stuck in our body through our body's memory. And so through somatic movement, we can break free of the stagnant energy that is stuck, that feels like it can't be seen or can't be heard. And the way in which we do this currently is through surfing. I will be integrating different programs that involve somatic movement that can be done in your everyday. Let's say that you are not a surfer, but you still want the benefits of that energy moving, that will come within Yoniswell Surf Collective. And beyond surfing, we create a space for awakening the divine feminine, for educating you about what is the divine feminine. And through this knowledge and through these offerings and practices, we create a space that allows you to tap into your own nature. And we do this through astrology readings, tarot, AKASHIC records readings, Reiki, healing, all the ways in which you can tap into your spiritual self that then vibrates and becomes real within your human self. So, today I am talking about the Gemini new moon that is taking place today in the US on May 26th around 8 p.m. Before I talk about the Gemini new moon, I want to get a few housekeeping things out of the way. I will save my final thoughts for the end in sharing this information. But right now, I just want to make people aware because there's so much stimulation and there's so much information out there in the world that I think sometimes these details get dismissed or overlooked. And so I want to share with you that for all of the Gemini birthdays, there is a astrology reading birthday special. And this is where we look at your natal chart and then we look at your solar return chart so that you can have an idea of what this year is bringing for you as a way to work with the energy. This is 90 minutes on Zoom. You keep the recording as a way to study what you are absorbing. And it is $70 for 90 minutes. In addition to that, if you go on our website, my website or Yoniswell's website, they interact with each other. If you were to purchase surf lessons or purchase the program, our signature program, Intuitive Surf Coaching, if you're a Gemini, then you're going to receive 10% off of the entire price. This work needs to be accessible. So we are moving and flowing with the current economic state and all the changes that are taking place in the world at large. And so we are making our prices accessible for you because I care about being of service, sharing the knowledge, because it can truly have a positive impact on your life. And if this doesn't resonate for you, you may know somebody that could benefit from this experience and this knowledge. Now, I am an astrologer. I have many talents. I am a filmmaker. However, at this time, I am moving into what for me is Saturn moving into Aries, creating a new 30-year cycle. I am moving into becoming a licensed marriage and family therapist. So when I am sharing this information, I am sharing it from a therapeutic point of view and also a spiritual point of view that can become practical for you in your everyday. So I think it's important to share that we are all going through so many changes, and this is my way of sharing and embracing the change that is happening within me. And I want to be here to share this knowledge and this wisdom for you as a way to navigate, to have a compass, and to have a resource that can truly help you. So let's get started with reviewing and talking about the Gemini new moon, because I have been talking about it a little bit here and there, happening today. So I'm going to pull up the chart so that you can see what I am looking at. And I'm going to break this down. Okay. So this is the chart for the planetary aspects that are taking place during the Gemini new moon. I do set this chart for Greenwich, England, because it is viewed as the most universal location on the planet as a way to normalize and neutralize this perspective for the entire collective. So this is from a like overview of the collective energy, but you could also calculate this for your current location to make it more personal for you. But that's just why we have it from Greenwich, England, and uh, that way it's the most neutral way and objective way we can look at the collective energies happening on the planet. So this new moon is ruled by, it's happening in the sign of Gemini. That means it's ruled by the planet Mercury, which is right here at 2 degrees 20 minutes. And it's important to share and to remember, especially if astrology is new for you. Astrology is one of the most ancient natural sciences that exists, and it is based upon observation and correlation, meaning we are witnessing the natural phenomena that are taking place within this reality. And there's only so much that we can understand within our mind, and even within the universe that lives within us, our intuition. Because the intuition carries the truth and has an abundant capacity to take in and remember, really remember the divine universal knowledge of natural timeless principles. The universe lives within us, and the intuition carries this divine wisdom. Our mind is limited to understanding a certain level of consciousness. Mercury represents the mind. Gemini represents the mind. It is our immediate reality. And the archetype of Gemini is the twins. It's the nature of duality, in that the Gemini energy is going to gather as much information as it can in order to have an understanding of choices and to understand two sides of a coin in order to make a choice that resonates with what the Gemini energy believes as truth. It's a perception of truth, and it comes from one's experience of gathering the information and having choices, having options. And so this Mercury in Gemini, which is conjunct, a conjunction is when a planet is within 10 degrees of another planet. When it's our personal planets, Mercury, and these luminaries of the moon and the sun, those are very personal energies. that we are going to feel within our immediate reality. Gemini is our immediate reality. It's also short-term travel. And the Gemini energy affects your everyday reality. So if there is change, if there's a pattern of absolute change that's taking place within the current energy, well, it's going to affect your current reality, your immediate reality. And when we have Mercury right here conjunct the sun and the moon, that is beginning a new moon. So they're beginning their monthly new symbiotic cycle. And this is where we get to set intentions and the new beginnings are starting. This energy is inviting us to explore what our soul is telling us. It's inspiring us to follow the guidance that is coming from a soul level. Because this Mercury rules this new moon in Gemini, we need to look at the aspects. And so this Mercury is trining Pluto retrograde in Aquarius. And Pluto represents our soul. It represents the unconscious. Carl Jung, in all of his work, talked about individuation and the unconscious. And when we actually wake up to our unconscious, the old conditioned self starts to unravel. And it is an ego death. It feels like a death happening within us. Because what we're doing is we are letting go of the old conditioned self that is not connected to our nature, but was a part of our programming in order to learn a series of lessons that create wisdom and create empathy and creates medicine, so that when we wake up to our natural self and we start operating from that, because we are now integrating our shadow self and our natural self with love and acceptance and unconditional love, we are then able to share that wisdom with anybody that comes into our space. And when this process happens, we are then attracting in others that seek guidance from you, because you are holding the space, and because you are a beacon of light of what that person resonates with as something that they need, that they want to learn from, and that they want to be around. There's also very significant energy on the planet right now that is waking up to the divine feminine. And what does that mean? Well, that means that we are remembering that we are spiritual beings, that we are immutable beings of light and consciousness within the human form. And because we are connected, naturally connected to our own abundance and to the divine, we naturally have this ability to heal, to receive, to trust, to operate from our intuition, which is vibrating the truth that's within our hearts. And that we can heal. We heal through the emotional body, which is also known as the etheric body. We do not heal through the intellectual mind. But this new moon in Gemini is integrating your soul's wisdom to initiate liberation and freedom from the confines and the structures of conditioning that are keeping you from moving forward, that are revealing your limitations of what no longer serves you. And this is the energy of your human consciousness, your mind, realizing there is something within me that is connected to something vast in the universe. And when I listen to this calling and I follow my intuition towards this calling to learn about what this soul's wisdom is telling me, my soul's wisdom, then I am opening up and I am breaking free from the patriarchal structures of the past that kept me confined within a belief system that was a form of propaganda and gaslighting that had me believing I needed to seek validation outside of myself, that I needed to seek achievement outside of myself within society so that society could tell me that I have any worth. So, this Gemini new moon is breaking open and dismantling the structures of our mind that believed into materialism and that our worth comes from outside of us and how we are recognized in society. This is all being dismantled. And when this information begins to come into your human mind and your human consciousness, it's because you have been doing the inner healing work in the unconscious and you've been reprogramming the subconscious. If we are operating from an unhealed version of ourselves, a distortion of repressed emotions, our unconscious will speak to our subconscious, and we will then be operating from those wounds. And operating from those wounds is not operating from your divine feminine energy and your natural self. So, this Mercury has just crossed paths with this Uranus in Taurus. And Uranus represents your subconscious. It is your subconscious memories. It's your long term memory where you carry the trauma, where those wounds live. And so you may be experiencing a spiritual awakening, an ego death. Something inside of you is dying because the new is revealing itself, but the new is actually connected to your pure essence, your divine feminine energy, and your light. And so this is an integration and a calibration between your feminine and your masculine so that they can nurture each other and create a brand new physical reality, Saturn in Aries at 0 degrees of Aries, a world point of pure potential. This Saturn moving into Aries it just moved into Aries on May 24th. Yes, May 24th, the evening of May 24th in the US. And this signifies what are you going to build for yourself from your purest point of potential for the next 30 years. And Saturn in Aries is the infant. So this is a signification, a defining moment of freedom. But also Saturn will contain a reality and will slow it down. So this is the beginning of a brand new 30-year cycle. And we have Neptune in Ceres here. So we are restructuring our consciousness, remembering how to nurture the infant version of ourselves and to go within for our own guidance and to build our reality from a place of healing. Now, some people may just be waking up to this, and it will be an experience of chaos and upheaval for many people. If you are strictly connected to the material world, this can create chaos and upheaval. For those of you who are tapping into your intuition and developing a spiritual practice, connecting to your own divine energy, You will flow. You will move with the ebbs and flows of the changes that are coming in the next 5 years in this world at large. And so, this Mercury, I'm going to conclude it here. This Mercury trining this Pluto is receiving downloads into your human consciousness that are going to help you pivot and close out, yet create the new beginnings that are meant for you, that are in alignment with who you naturally are. And more than ever, somatic movement is a key resource to integrate into your daily reality. We have so much energy that is now ready to leave our own individual energy fields so that our natural and unique energy can just reveal itself, can just rise to the surface and then manifest and co-create a reality that is in alignment with our truth. However, we can integrate breath, somatic movement, moving energy that's stagnant out of our body. This is also this trine to Pluto is our voice, it's communication, it's expression. It is time to recover our voice, to return to our nature, to remember who we are. And so you may experience this integration, this activation that just opens something up within you that needs to be said, that needs to be heard, that needs to be shared, that needs to be communicated to help structure the new realities that we need on this planet at this time. When we look at this Mars, this Mars is trining Venus. Venus is trining Mars, which means our masculine and feminine energy are now moving and integrating, moving forward together. That perhaps could mean that your divine feminine is healing so that she feels safe in order for the masculine to go out and create what she's ready to express. The masculine creates what the feminine is desiring from within when she feels safe. In order for these two to flow in alignment together, she needs to feel safe. This Venus is also ruled by this Mars, but this Mars is in Leo. Before we move on to that, this Venus is approaching a conjunction to Chiron in Aries. And what does that mean? Well, you may feel a wound come up around your own self-value, your self-worth, and your value system, and how that has manifested within your reality. And when we're talking about Venus, we are talking about relationships, relationship to self. She is your inner voice. She is the relationship you have cultivated with yourself. And that is then reflected in your relationships, which is also Venus energy. Venus is money. Venus is creativity. It's beauty. It's everything that you are, that you love in the physical reality. It's all of your attachments that have to do with the material world. When she's conjuncting Chiron, this Chiron in Aries is healing the wounds of where we have felt we could not take up space and be seen and move with courage and self-determination. So this Venus is self-determined and she is healing these wounds. This Chiron says, the green light is here. We are moving forward and operating from the healed version of ourselves. And so when we look at this trine to Mars in Leo, which is actually ruled by the sun, it comes back to this new moon in Gemini, ruled by this Mercury in Gemini, trining this Pluto. This is a time for us. And by the way, this Mercury in Gemini is sextiling Ceres. And as I've mentioned before, Ceres is the goddess of harvest. In the myth, she's the mother of Persephone, and Persephone was her daughter, kidnapped from her by Hades. And Ceres is the goddess who began the seasons because her daughter was kidnapped and she was experiencing such grief and such loss. And she threatened that if she didn't get her daughter back, she would stop harvesting, stop growing and planting, nourishing. She's the great nurturer. She is the great mother, the archetype of the great mother within us, where we have the ability to nurture ourselves and then to be that nurturer for another. When we are living from a full cup, this series demands to live from a full cup, but she also represents where we have experienced loss and grief. And she's newly in Aries, so she herself is harvesting and nurturing a brand new reality of self. It's sextiling this Mercury, so they're dancing in step. This new moon in Gemini is also sextiling this. This is Cassandra in Aries. Cassandra is a prophet. She's the goddess of envisioning truth before it takes place in the physical reality. But she was also shunned for having this ability, and she was, in a way, exiled and wronged for her own natural gifts of being able to uh, prophesize and be a source for psychic wisdom coming through to help the collective. And so she is speaking up. There are parts of us that are speaking up because it's time. And you're going to witness this through the divine feminine in our physical reality. And the way in which you're going to continue to witness this is through women. But it's the stories that we're going to see, like, in the news, and feminine figures that are stepping up to the plate and sharing a truth in order for society to witness this, so that we can start to see this pattern of the divine feminine rising. True divine feminine energy is when we feel safe and we trust the information we're receiving, and then we operate from our intuition, knowing that our intuition is bringing us the best and highest good for us from within us. And with discernment, the divine feminine will decide if something is true or not. And so we are entering a society where you are going to need this intuitive divine feminine power that is in your nature in order to decide what is true and what is not. Because this new moon in Gemini is also the beginning point of our physical reality and technology taking a quantum leap to where we are not even going to be able to recognize one reality from the other. And it's going to move so fast to where propaganda is going to influence you towards being in full force and uh, buying into AI as the answer to everything. And that is just not true. There is a way for AI to help humanity move forward, but not to where it's asking or demanding of you to shift or change your human dynamic, which means if you are utilizing technology to put into your body, that is not the answer. And your intuition will let you know. Because this new moon in Gemini point is when Uranus in July will begin to travel over these same degree points. And when Uranus enters Gemini, this is innovation, this is new inventions, this is technology, taking the quantum leap. This is also we as our human self remembering that we have access to the vast universe of unlimited possibilities, and we can manifest within the quantum field at any given moment. And to also choose wisely, to remember the natural laws of the universe, and to be in integrity with that, to honor that we are a part of the greater whole. This new moon in Gemini is going to initiate and activate these truths within our human consciousness. So I celebrate with you this new moon in Gemini, and to be conscious and present with your thoughts. New ideas flooding in, write it down. We are paving and forging a new path that is going to help humanity rise and return to her nature. And we are all a part of this process. I am sending you oceans of love. Please reach out, share with me in the comments how you are experiencing this new moon in Gemini. And by the way, all of those who experienced perhaps a dark night of the soul in the last 2 weeks from that full moon in Scorpio, this is the shifting of the tides as we are rising up and individuating and saying absolute goodbye to the old wounded version of ourselves. That was true metamorphosis healing taking place, not just from this timeline, but from other timelines, all into one. Because Saturn was trining that full moon, and Saturn says it's time for this to die. It's time for these old patterns to die. So I invite you to check out Yoniswell's offerings, to please let me know how you're feeling in the comments, to please reach out if you have any questions. And as a reminder, we are hosting our Divine Feminine Surf Immersion experience in El Salvador in July. The details are below. Please check out that information if that resonates with you. We will be integrating surf, astrology, divine feminine energy, like education around what that is, and somatic movement. So we are on a mission to heal and to empower ourselves, but to have fun, to connect through community, to align with like-minded individuals. So I invite you to check that out. I would love to meet you in person. I love doing this work. So please come see me. Schedule a reading with me. All readings, whether it's astrology, AKASHIC records, tarot, I also have a connecting to your intuition reading and how you can learn more about that. Those are all $90 for a session. I am making this work accessible because it's so important to have available. I also have our connecting to your intuition workshop coming up that's starting on May 30th. It's 5 Saturdays, and each session we focus on various chakras within our 7 chakra system, and we learn about the divine feminine goddesses that rule those parts of our body as a way to educate ourselves about our body's consciousness, somatic healing and how we can integrate and get to know our own bodies as a truth compass that helps us be in alignment with our own unique energy. I celebrate this new moon in Gemini with you. I am sending you oceans of love. I'm sending you oceans of love, and I invite you to come see me. I hope this was helpful, and I will see you on the next one. I'm going to stop sharing. Take care and have a beautiful new moon in Gemini. I will see you soon.